The first time my son barked for food, I thought he was joking. His tiny voice let out a soft woof as he reached for a slice of bread on the table. I blinked. "Liam." "What was that?" I asked. He looked at me with wide, embarrassed eyes and mumbled, "Aunt Stacy said, if I bark, I get to eat." I stared at my sister, expecting her to laugh it off, but Stacy just smiled sweetly and said, "What? It's cute. He plays along." My son was 8. He wasn't a toy. "Don't do that again, sweetheart," I said, gently stroking his hair. "You don't have to bark for anything." Stacy rolled her eyes and shoved a plate toward him. "Relax, Jamie. You're too uptight. It's a game." Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. But I'd seen it in his eyes. The shame, the hesitation, the way he checked her expression before reaching for a bite. That was the beginning of what I didn't yet know was a pattern. That weekend, I had to leave for a job interview 2 towns over. My parents offered to keep Liam for the night. "It'll give you a break," Mom said. "Besides, he's with family." I made the mistake of believing they saw him as family too. When I came back Sunday evening, I noticed Liam didn't rush to hug me. He stood by the corner of the hallway, chewing his sleeve. His voice was hoarse. His shirt was stained. My mother was laughing in the kitchen with Stacy like it had been the most charming weekend of their lives. "Hey, buddy," I said, kneeling. "Everything okay?" He looked at me for a long second, like he was debating if he should speak. "Can we eat at home tonight?" he whispered. "I don't want to bark anymore." My stomach twisted. "What?" "They said if I want dinner, I gotta bark loud like a real dog, so Grandma and Grandpa can hear how much I want it." He looked away. Grandpa laughed and said, "Make it convincing, Mutt," and Aunt Stacy filmed it. I dropped my bag. I stormed into the kitchen. "You made him bark like a dog?" Dad shrugged, not even looking up from his plate. He didn't mind. Kids bark all the time. He wants to eat, he better earn it. Dogs wait for scraps too. Mom sipped her tea. "Oh, Jamie, don't be dramatic. He's a boy. Toughen him up." "He's not a dog," I shouted. "He's my child." Stacy smirked. "You left him here. We took care of him. You're welcome." "By humiliating him? You always act like he's fragile. He needs to learn his place." "His place?" I snapped. "He's 8. His place is loved, safe, not growling for table scraps like a mutt." Dad stood up slowly, towering over me. "If you can't handle how we raise kids in this house, then don't bring him here. But don't preach when you're the single mother living off our spare bedroom." That shut me up. For now. Because the truth was, they were right. I had nowhere else to go. After my ex-husband walked out on us, I'd crawled back home with Liam, praying for a fresh start. All I got was a restart on old wounds. At night, I held Liam close while he cried. I promised him it would get better, that he'd never have to bark again. But even as I said it, I knew I had no backup plan, no savings, no way out. Until the next morning. We were having breakfast. I handed Liam a slice of toast, and before I could stop him, he whimpered a low bark. My hand trembled. "Sweetheart, no." He flinched. "Sorry, I didn't mean to. I just thought maybe if I did it first, they wouldn't be mad." I looked across the table. Stacy was smirking. Dad was reading the newspaper. Mom was buttering her toast. Not one of them flinched at the sound. Like it was normal. That was the moment I realized they had trained him. Not raised, not loved, trained. And I wasn't a mother anymore. I was a coward letting it happen. But not for long. Liam stopped asking for seconds after that. Even when he was hungry. Even when I wasn't around and my parents forced him to eat on the floor with his plate between his knees, like a pet. He never barked again, but he also never raised his voice. He just went quiet. One night I found him crouched by the door, whispering to himself, "Good dog, good boy, don't cry." My heart cracked in a place I didn't know could break. I'd begged him to be strong, but strength was never supposed to look like this. The next morning, I told my mom we were leaving. "I'll figure it out, but we're not staying here." She didn't even look up from her knitting. "Where will you go? With what money?" "I'll work." "You've said that for 2 years. You'll come crawling back like always." Stacy leaned in from the couch. Leave the boy then. He's better off here. I froze. What did you say? She smiled. You heard me. He eats better here. Has structure. We're teaching him discipline, something you clearly failed at. I lunged, not with fists, but with fire in my voice. If you ever talk about my son like that again. Dad stood up and slammed his cup on the table. Then act like a parent and stop freeloading. You can't provide, you can't lead, so we're stepping in. By making him bark? By showing him his place, Dad said coldly. You think the world's gonna coddle him? I looked at all three of them, my father, my mother, my sister, and saw the truth I'd denied for years. They didn't hate me, they disrespected me. They saw Liam as a toy to mold, a prop, a pet, because to them, I wasn't a person. I was still the failure daughter, the backup plan, the floorboard under their feet. But something shifted in me that day. Not rage, not grief, calculation. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just nodded. You're right, I said softly. I can't provide. My mom's smile widened. Finally, some humility. I walked to my room, closed the door, and packed one bag. Just one. For Liam. Then I waited. That night, I told Liam we were going on a trip. But we can't tell anyone, okay? His eyes lit up with a fearsome hope. Are we running away? No, I whispered. We're running toward something. We snuck out the back, caught the last bus out of town, slept at the station, ate stale crackers for dinner. I had $42 to my name. And I'd never felt richer. Because my son slept with peace on his face for the first time in months. The next morning, I borrowed a friend's couch in another state, got a job at a local diner. It paid garbage, but it was real, and I kept Liam by my side, every step. I walked him to school, waited outside after class. We made up silly games, laughed in public again, found cheap thrills in flea markets and fountains. He stopped flinching when he reached for food. He started saying, "Please pass the bread," instead of looking for permission, and the day he barked by accident while laughing at a cartoon dog, then paused and looked horrified. I wrapped him in my arms and said, "You never have to do that again, ever." He nodded and whispered, "Even if they come back?" "They won't," I said. "They can't, because they don't own us anymore." But I knew better. They would try, and I'd be ready. They showed up 6 months later, unannounced, uninvited. I was wiping tables at the diner during my morning shift when I looked up, and there they were. My mother in her pearls, my father in his pressed Sunday jacket, Stacy in sunglasses and smugness like it was designer perfume. I almost dropped the plate. Mom walked in like she owned the place. There she is, still mopping floors, I see. The other waitress, Terry, whispered behind me, "Want me to kick them out?" I shook my head. "No," I said. "Let's see what trash wants." Stacy leaned against the counter. "We missed Liam." I stared at her. "Missed? Barking orders at him, you mean?" Dad forced a laugh. "Okay, listen. We were harsh, sure. But let's not act like we don't care. We were just toughening you both up." "Tough love," Mom added. "And now we think it's time to reconcile." "Reconcile?" I echoed. "Why now?" Their eyes shifted, and then I saw it, the folder in Mom's purse, legal documents, inheritance. I took off my apron slowly, walked to the door, locked it. "Liam," I called. "Come out, baby." My son peeked from the back, book in hand. His eyes froze when he saw them. He took one step back. "Hey, little man," Dad said too brightly. "Long time no see." Liam didn't speak. He didn't move. He just looked at me, waiting. I nodded. He walked over, not to them, to me. "Mom," he said quietly. "Why are they here?" "To collect what they think they deserve," Mom snapped. "We do deserve it. Your grandfather left the estate to you, but we handled everything while you were finding yourself. Half of that belongs to us." Stacy smirked. "It's just fair." I crouched and handed Liam a sealed envelope. "Go on, baby. Do what we talked about." He walked forward, every step silent, calm. He handed the envelope to my mother and said, "That's why you came, right?" She froze. Dad took it, opened it, pulled out a single photo, a photograph of Liam standing in a dog costume, tears in his eyes, taken from the security camera I'd secretly installed the night of the barking incident. On the back, I had written, "This is what you taught me. You get nothing." Dad's hands shook. Mom's face drained of color. Stacy lunged. "You can't cut us out. That money's family money." "So is trauma," I said flatly. "And that photo? It's just a preview. There's a whole USB. With audio." "You wouldn't dare." "Oh, I dare, but I don't need to use it because you won't fight this. You can't." Dad tried to speak. I cut him off. "If you file anything, if you send a single lawyer my way, this footage becomes public. Your church friends, your boss, your neighborhood barbecue group, all of them will hear Stacy making a child bark for food." Stacy's sunglasses slipped off. "Liam, sweetie," she said, voice trembling, "don't you want us to be a family again?" Liam looked at her. For the first time, he smiled and said, "If I wanted that, I'd bark." They stormed out. A week later, I mailed them a check. Exactly $1. In the memo line, I wrote, "Here's your share of what you left behind." They never came back. Liam and I moved again a few months later. This time, not to run, but to rise. He started theater, public speaking. I watched him tell jokes, command rooms, open his mouth wide and never once flinch when he spoke. And on his first big school speech, he walked on stage with full confidence. "Today," he told the crowd, "I'll be talking about what it means to use your voice." I cried the entire time. He looked at me while they applauded, and I knew I didn't just get revenge. I rewrote the script they tried to force on him. They made him bark. I made sure they crawled, bare, and watched from the outside, cold and forgotten, while the boy they broke learned how to roar. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.